I'm Dr. Stephen Andrew Missick, and I'm going to talk about something that came up recently. And when you're running for office, you get a lot of questionnaires. And sometimes it's time consuming to sit down and fill those out. But I got a questionnaire from an organization that I think is a good thing, and it's a problem we need to be addressed. I know there's a lot of problems that are vexing and controversial, but this is something very practical, and this deals with government accountability. And this organization is Texans for Toll-Free Highways, and also it's TURF, Texans Uniting for Reform and Freedom. So, I'm not wealthy, served in the military for 30 years, father's a pastor, helping him, feel called to ministry, helping him with his country church, and that's fine. I'm happy, I'm grateful. Actually, I've been able to do my limited income. I've traveled the world, gone on adventures, lived a great life, life of adventure and seeing strange, exotic countries and things like that. But you got to think about the everyday life for average Joe American, especially people who are struggling. And one thing that really bothers me is tolls and tollways. And this has to do with military. I have military obligations, and I have to. We used to have the Armory. They moved it. Was at Jersey Village, and you get on Beltway 8, or just going to Ellington Field. And I've been working on this project. My father passed away, and he's building a replica of the biblical menorah. And I've been going to iSolids, a 3D printer, to finish this project my father made. And I have to get a tollway to go there. And with going to Camp Mabry in Austin on 290. And it's like you can't get anywhere without going through a tollway. And it's not right. And gas is expensive. And sometimes, I just drive, just going for business. And I have to pay, additional, sometimes $30, $40 just to contribute to the economy with this, mostly, or working for my country. It's ridiculous. And one thing about Beltway 8, and it's like, okay, we're going to build this Beltway, and we have a tollway only until it's paid for, and then we're going to, once they start a tollway, you always have a tollway. And I am fed up with getting all these bills, $30, $40, just to take care of business. It's a fundamental responsibility of the government to provide roads. And that's our right as a citizen to be able to travel freely and safely in our own country. And then you find out there's graft and corruption and misappropriation of funds. And it's like, where's the accountability of this? They put this burden. The economy's bad. It's probably worse than we know. We lost a third since this joker Joe Biden assumed office, seized power. The dollar's lost a third of its value. And, I just wonder, I think that they say the stock market is good, but we'll see about that. And these job reports are saying they're juicing the numbers. They're probably juicing the stock market somehow. And this is exploitative. And that money isn't being used to maintain our roads. And it's like, don't we pay taxes for that? Taxes to the federal government, state taxes to take care of our roads? How come we can't get anywhere without paying $30, $40 sometimes just to take care of? It's none of the government's business what I'm doing or where I'm going. If I'm going to see family, if I'm going to go to vacation, if I'm doing work. It's ridiculous. And I always thought, it's like, what? We need somebody in government to close all these tollways down and open these roads, these public roads to the public. They should be public roads. It's ridiculous. And I got this questionnaire from them. People consider me a right-wing conservative and all that. But this shouldn't be controversial, right? This should be a partisan issue. You should be able to drive freely and safely on the roads. What do we pay taxes for crying out loud? And if they can't supply transportation in our country, then the government's not doing this, not focusing on what it needs to be doing. They got their priorities wrong. This is an essential and basic function of the government, and we shouldn't have to pay fees and penalties to freely travel around in our country. This is another issue, but it's funny, I got this Remy, he's an Iraqi American, he does these parody videos, and he's complaining about the TSA, and the electronic strip searches getting on planes. It's like, well, why do we endure this indignity? What right does the government have to, scan through your clothes just because you got to go on a trip, a family or business, or even a vacation? Why do we put up with this? Government needs to be accountable to us, and our first freedoms enshrined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights should take priority over everything. And I'm just looking at this organization. Like I said, this isn't a partisan issue. This is very practical, right? Everybody should agree. And the Democrats, we care about the poor. We care about the poor. Then let the poor people be able to travel on the road. I've been poor in some ways. Maybe I'm still poor, but why are you penalizing people just to drive around on these roads? And you can't even get anywhere without going through a tollway. It's ridiculous. Or like going to Austin. They deal with this in the questionnaire. Going to Austin, you have to get on that tollway. Otherwise, you're going to spend, and we're talking about going like 10 miles. You're probably going to spend 20 or 30 minutes if you take the lane and stay off of the feeder lane, stay off of the tollway. That's going to cost you a lot of time, and it's not right. And where's that money going? Is it benefiting society and culture? All that money they exploit from us to travel in our country, to take care of business, and with me, military service. So I want to encourage people to support Texas for Toll-Free Highways and Texas United for Reform and Freedom, because, like I said, there's these polarizing issues, and I'm a conservative Republican, and I'm very passionate about my beliefs as a Christian and conservatism. But this is practical. This benefits everybody, and American citizens need to take a stand and say no more of these tollways. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to pay more money to use public roads, and if these roads aren't public, they ought to be. They ought to be. The government. This is the problem. This is the perspective. They want to make you a subject. We're citizens. The government should serve the interests of the citizens of the nation. It shouldn't be the other way around, where we're slaves or servants of the government. And we need to take a stand and say, we're not doing this. This is ridiculous. It's theft. It's highway, literally. These tollways are highway robbery, and we need to say no more. So when I get elected, I got to be optimistic. When I get elected, I'll introduce this legislation. Anything these people say, unless it violates my conscience as a Christian, I'm going to push this their legislation, which it sounds very good to me. So it's not it. There are more polarizing, more issues that are more visible, but this is, I think, an issue that is important. I'm not seeing that to a lot of people, and it's an issue that needs to be confronted. And we need to get these people in the Texas State Legislature say, look, this is out of hand. Let's stop this tollway oppression. Stop the tollway oppression, and start serving the people. That's what you're there for, right? Supposed to be there for. So much corruption. But we deserve better. We can expect better. We need to expect better. We need to demand better. And we need to demand no more tollways in Texas. Freedom for the American and the Texan driver. So thank you. God bless you. Remember to vote. Early voting, February 20th. The primary, March 5th. So hope to see you at the polls during the early voting or the primary, so we can make change and get the government working for you instead of working for themselves. Thank you, and God bless you.
Son. everything in the name of praise.